Welcome to another edition of Random Subjects, and today's topic is negativity, like how we tend to be negative about certain things, and it's perfectly all right to be in a sullen mood, to feel down and broken. It's perfectly fine, but it gets worse when you accept a character that is very cynical, and you think that I'm better off this way. I'm better off being negative about everything. And you end up doing two things here. One, you pull yourself down all the time under the disguise of self-deprecating humor. So you keep on pulling yourself down. And the other thing that you do is you pull others down, which sounds funny to some extent, but eventually there is no good. There's no nobility in being cynical all the time. Nothing good comes out of it. Like literally nothing good comes out of it. And it becomes your character. That's the worst part. It takes a long time to reach there, being skeptical all the time, and then before you know it, this is who you are. The world, as we know it, at least, it's run by people who are optimistic, who wake up every day thinking that they'll get back to bed. They try to win and try to manifest. So I believe that now, after long experiences of being cynical and trying to be funny about it, what I've understood is that being cynical is like wearing a wet blanket. You think that you're warm, but you're actually wet. So if you really want to escape this trap, then it's better to start with yourself instead of expecting the world to change. One, the world doesn't owe you anything. Two, the world will keep on changing without informing you. You'll get no memo. So it's better to work on yourself and try to be optimistic about your goals, your life. So it's a long process, obviously, but it's an interesting process, a process worth undertaking. And you start with little things. You start with being confident by being expressive, and these little exercises will help you, shed this burden. Actually, it's a burden, nothing else. When you are being cynical, what you're doing is you're living all your failures twice. Once while you were manifesting it, and other time when it actually happened. Whereas an optimistic person will live his failure only once, when the failure actually happens. But a cynical person ends up living all their failures like twice. So I think it's a bad bargain to be stuck in this unnecessary, So yeah, I can't think of any upside apart from comedy. If you are a you know humor writer, somebody who is into uh, comedy, and then it still makes sense. It still makes sense to be cynical. But if you're not in these fields of free expression, then it doesn't make sense at all to be cynical about things around you. There's no upside to it. I can't see an upside, because I used to be that person who used to always uh, be low on self-esteem. Although I still believe that there is a lot of work to be done there, but I've understood now that there's nothing there. It's better to stay in a space where you're constantly growing, you're constantly improving. But if you're going to pull yourself down all the time, thinking that this is good, when you're being cynical, you are being cool or whatever. It's not. Sooner or later, you will bump into the wall of realization, and then it will be pure downhill. So better to pull yourself up, work on your self-esteem, work on your confidence. You know, uh, surround yourself with people who actually help you get better, who are really invested in your growth. Avoid those who are leeching on others' confidence. So to conclude, I'd suggest that it's easy to say that let's just stop being skeptical. Let's be optimistic, and then you look at how there are, like, every day you read news around how the world is burning, and how the world is ending, and how this is crumbling and that is falling. And but that has always been the case. There has been no point in history when things were like prim and proper. Never. The world was always burning. Things were always in ruin, and it's never going to change. So the ball is in your court, because it's about you. Like I said, like, it's either about you or about others. By others, I mean the world at large, right? So best to start with yourself, best to work on yourself and try to understand why you feel that way, and then work your way up. And eventually you'll reach a stage where you'll realize that you are in a much better place, much brighter place. And that is a goal, I think. That is a long-term goal.